We're going to make this work. We're going to have to make it work, because if we stop exploring, we're going to falter as a civilization. That's what John Young told me when I first became an astronaut. Once the human race stops exploring, we will falter. And it's very important that you all have email accounts, you all know how to write letters, write your Congress people to tell them that this is something that the nation must do. Because we are explorers. We are curious. We want to know what's out there, what's behind that next planet. And that's what we must do in civilization. Yesterday, I was up in Orlando at the Peabody Hotel, starting a program with the First Lady and the Second Lady, Jill Biden, for military families. And she mentioned that 1% of us serve in the military. How many military people are here? You military? Hey, Steph, how you doing? We'll be talking about you in a minute, sir. 1% of us serve in the military. So 100% of the nation support them. We had military families come from all over the nation. We did hands-on things with the parents and the children. And we had a summit where we're trying to see how we can help military students do better in school, do better in STEM, actually. Because a lot of these students, they get deployed, their families get deployed, they get moved around quite a bit, and they're not able to keep the continuity of their education. So how can we best help benefit the First Lady and the White House to help military children? And that's something we're doing in education. Another thing we're doing is the Summer of Innovation program. Anyone know about that program? Summer of Innovation? All right, back. We're trying to give kids hands-on, experiential opportunities to figure out what it means to be a scientist or engineer. I just came back from Denmark 2 weeks ago. And this is, by the way, this is Stephen Turnipseed from LEGO Education. He's the CEO of LEGO Education. Any LEGO-nauts in here? Okay. Well, 2 weeks ago, I was at this workshop with the Mindstorms, first time playing with the Mindstorms robot. And our challenge was a bunch of people from all over the country, all over the world, really. So the challenge was to build a robot that can move forward, but you cannot use the tires to roll to make the robot move forward. And so Stephen and I were paired up, and we're trying to make the most elegant solution to this problem. And we put the motors on the side of this controller, we put an axle, and then we had a little kind of like a wedge to be the turning piece, and then we put a tire on to give us some traction. And I think we built that in about 15 minutes. The challenge was do it in 30 minutes or less, make it work, and we would win the prize. So Stephen and I came up with the solution. And when I think about kids and learning, I think about play. If you can get kids to do something where they're playing, you'll disguise the play as science, as engineering. How can we get them to do things that they already want to do? Think about video games. You know, all the training that I did to be a robotics operator in space was one big video game. I mean, literally. I had 2 hand controllers, had a computer screen, and I was flying the robotic arm there. Those models that drove that simulation were so perfect that when I got to space and I flew the real arm, it felt exactly the same. The same dynamics, the same harmonics and the oscillations were exactly the same. So if the students are playing games that simulate space, that will make them excellent astronauts and get them ready for space. So some of the things that LEGO Education is doing, they have a foundation that are actually giving teachers curriculum and LEGO bricks to get these kids excited and motivated. And we have a wonderful partnership with them where we're flying on STS-134 30 LEGO kits. We're going to send them to space and have the astronauts assemble Legos and then have the students on the ground try to replicate that and try to understand the differences in how will their, say, a trundle wheel for measuring distances, how will that trundle wheel work on the ground versus work in space? So these are some of the things that we're doing with LEGO and other strategic partners to try to ensure that we have systematic way of getting our kids motivated, inspired, and excited. So those are some of the other things we're doing. Military families, summer renovation, Lego. Let's see what else is education we're doing. We're going through a redesign of education right now, trying to make sure that NASA is not trying to cover the entire pipeline. Our budget cannot sustain covering every single piece of the pipeline. And that's why we need partners, the Department of Education, with other federal agencies that can fill in pieces of that pipeline for us. So those are some of the other things we're doing. Let's see what else. Someone tweeted out, I think last night or this morning, about the anaconda story. So you guys want to hear about that? Well, it was an exclusive story for the last group. So go to, I think it's TiVo Girl. Is it TiVo Girl? Or do a search for anaconda, #anaconda. I think it has some hash mark now to see what it was like. I think there's a little video clip of that. That was a very exciting experience in space when you're having to do your business and things don't go the way you thought they were going to go. So check it out. Let's see. I'll take some questions now.
Hi. I just want to say thank you for all the education work you do, because at the Texas Space Grant and working with NASA, I got to fly in reduced gravity, which was amazing. And
Okay, let me ask you a question.
So my question though is...
So did you...
Yeah, no, it's good to have help. So shoot. Well, anyway, so thank you so much for just supporting everything. And what can we do in the classroom to also foster science? And I'm sorry, I just like completely lost it. You're like a superhero to me. So for space, because one of my students asked this, and they're like, if you need an astronaut, find out. So they want to know, does pizza taste like pizza in space?
Does pizza taste like pizza in space? I didn't have any pizza in space, but my taste buds were fine. A lot of people's taste buds change. Their taste sensation changes in space, and everything that I ate tasted like it did when I tested it on the ground. And the thing that I did not have on the ground that I ate Nicole Scott's, they had some basmati rice with curry beef, because we couldn't get that on the shuttle side. Only the space station could get that selected. And so when I ate that, the rice was really aromatic, it was really, really good, and the curry beef had some spice to it, delicious. So everything tasted the same to me. I know some people were putting a lot of hot sauce in things, and if you look at some of the pictures from space, you see the hot sauce like the Velcro tip upside down. That's everywhere. You see hot sauce everywhere, so that people can douse it and get more flavor of their food. But I didn't have any problems with the taste. Good question. Back here, please. Come back here.
Hi, my name's Lucy, at Dr. Lucy Rogers. I've got an awful lot of followers in the UK who have been sending me questions. So this one's from @BilboBaggins2K. She wants to know, apparently there's a geocache up on the ISS, led by Space Tourist Richard Garrett. Have you used it? Have you looked at it? What's in there, please?
The geocache of ISS, I did not know it was there. So therefore, I did not use it. Yeah, I didn't even know. We were so, we were coming on a shuttle flight. We were so busy trying to get everything done. I was in charge of all the robotics and getting the guys moving around, and then all the transfer. And the transfer job is really crazy because some of the things, if you have a mistake, you have to transfer back over. You can't transfer over. All the pieces are in there in that one container. So I had my own little geocache trying to figure out where all the things were to go in the box to take them back home, but I didn't see that. Thanks for the question. To the left. To the left. To the left.
Hi, thank you. My name's Chad.
Chad?
I have a 13-year-old future astronaut at home. She's wanting to know, in all of your years of learning and training and just education experience, everything you've been through, when you got to space, was there something there that you weren't expecting or you weren't prepared for?
Good question. what I didn't expect when I got to space. I think the most amazing thing, all the training that you do to get you ready is perfect. You get there, you do your job, it feels like what you do on the ground. But the thing that you cannot even begin to imagine is how the colors affect your eyes from space. When I look down at the planet, I look at the water. You know how they say Eskimo knows 37 different shades of white to describe snow? You need 50 different shades of blue to describe the Caribbean, because the water is just so vibrant, and there's so many subtle hues. We were flying over Rigel Island, and I looked down, and this kind of a triangular-shaped island, but there was this underwater cave that was spewing out this sediment, and it made kind of like a triangular shape, but it had these riblets in it. So if you look down on it, it looks three-dimensional. So you have this three-dimensional white thing in the water, and then you have turquoise, indigo, azure, all these different colors of blue around it, and then this little brown island. The other thing that really blew me away was over the Pacific, when we were coming over this atoll, there was an atoll that was shaped like a heart. I mean, how do you prepare yourself for something like that? And you're in space with people that you train and work with, people from all around the world. You're breaking bread in space, you're having this meal. That's another thing. So the colors of the water, and then on my first flight, STS-122, we got to space, and Peggy Whitson, the first female commander, invited us over to dinner. So Peggy says, "You guys bring the rehydrated vegetables, we'll have a meat." So we float over with this bag of vegetables, and we're kind of slugging it through the hatch. And we get there, and there's music playing. We kind of hover around the table. Dan Tiny's up at the top, like the back, coming down and grabbing stuff and going up. And we took a picture of all of us around the table having this meal, breaking bread in space. And I thought of being at my mom's home. The smell of the meatloaf cooking, warm rolls in the oven, and you're having this meal with your friends and your family. But this family was African American, Asian American, French, German, Russian, the first female commander, so it was like a Benetton commercial. And you're sitting there eating, Sade's playing on the iPod through the speakers, like it was like smooth operators playing, So Dan starts singing, "Arm operator, arm operator," it's surreal. And you're eating, and one little piece, and people sharing, and so it was like you're at home. When you're traveling around the planet at 70,500 miles per hour, every 90 minutes, going around the planet, having this meal in space with your friends from all around the world. I couldn't even imagine that, because you think of having your meal on the ground, and you sit there and you eat something, you're kind of sitting around, but we're all bumping into each other, floating on the ceiling, on the walls, hot sauce everywhere. Those were the two things I think. Great question.
I want to add something really quick for Leland. Just so you know, when Leland is describing the colors, he is a photographer, so you still have to work for it. I know. I probably you can't say this, but I can. So he's LelandMelvin.com. He really is really gorgeous photography. So when he talks about colors, it's because his eyes see color in really amazing ways. So just going to put it out there.
My mom gave me a camera when I was, I think, in 8th grade, and I started taking pictures of everyone in the neighborhood. And then I would develop them at night and then sell them back to the week. So I could take their lunch money,